Hello guys, my name is Faisal and welcome to the AWS Cloud Practitioner Essential Certification Preparation of Exam. So this is in this module we shortly discuss about the concept of infrastructure and reliability of AWS. Later on we'll check this on real-time AWS Console, how and what we can do there, and how the zone and different availability zone and stuff look like. And in the end we'll practice some questions that could possibly appear in the exam. So let's get started. This module is kind of very straightforward and not that complex or difficult because it talks about general infrastructure things. So let's get started without wasting any time. So the thing is that mostly how infrastructure is designed. Actually in this area we need to know that how the infrastructure, like physical infrastructure, available, designed and distributed within the AWS, what is the philosophy behind, and how it can give the edge to the customer, and what should customer or person who is using the cloud should know about that. That's all. That's the main theme of this overall infrastructure stuff actually. So definitely the thing is that when you're building something, definitely if something is closed, or we always or in this guide we always take the example of coffee shop. That coffee shop is open, and due to some reason, if the root of that coffee shop is blocked here, this is completely blocked by this stuff here. So there should be some other ways so that any traffic could go to here, or this traffic could reroute to here. This means that what happen in case of failure with respect to AWS, which means that there should be some recovery plan, and that recovery plan comes up with the regions and availability zone. So what is the region and availability zone? Region and availability zone is that Amazon have a different physical station where they have big data warehouses, and there are multiple data warehouses on different sites which are kind of interconnected, but they are independent in case of failure. So that's how the region and availability zone works. So by region and availability zone, we mean that, for example, so this is geographical region 1, like R1, and within the R1 might be there are multiple availability zone. For example, AZ1, AZ2, and AZ3. So in one region, this is R1, region 1, for example, US West, in Oregano or so, and the second region is in Europe, R2. So for example, this region there are like 1, 2, and 3. There are minimum of 3 availability zone always in any, and these availability zone are physical data warehouses with physical building. So this is actually building 1, this is building 2, and this is building 3. So they are essentially building 1, building 2, and building 3. So these are the buildings actually which technically operates, and they have big computer inside, and each computer, so there is a recovery plan. So for example, the what is the benefit? For example, why I should, if I'm in Europe, why I should use the Frankfurt region? I will show you actually all the regions shortly, how they are distributed, or I can right now show you because it is pertinent right now. If you come here, if you come to that portion, these are the all region actually. These are the US West and East, 2 in the West and 2 in the East. These are the region. So every region has different availability zone. Availability zone means different buildings, and different building there's a different computer. This is the Asia Pacific. Okay, the Tokyo, Mumbai, and Singapore. And then Canada is only one in Montreal, somewhere, CA Central. So this is Canada. And then in the Europe, actually, one is in Frankfurt, Germany, where I do live, and in London, Paris, and Stockholm, and in South America and Sao Paulo. So these are the region actually. So now why these regions are distributed, or this is for security purpose, and this is beauty of AWS, that it is so segregated across the world that the failure could be very minimal. Number one. The second benefit of using a region which is close to you is that content delivery and compliance. Let's discuss them one by one. By content delivery, okay, let's first discuss the compliance. For example, in the Europe, there are some rules and some legal compliance requirement regarding the data protection. Now, these regions would automatically be designed in a way, in all the services which are operate in that region will be designing in the way that is compliant to the EU or European Union regulation. So this is the first thing, keep in mind. The second thing, which means that there is system called CloudFront in the AWS, which makes sure that deliver to the customer the data from the warehouse or create a cache of that data which is very near or the nearest to the customer request. For example, if I'm operating in the Europe and most likely my customer is sitting in the Europe, and if I choose the database in EU Central or any other EU which is close to my customer base, it is number one compliant with respect to regulation, compliant aware, and secondly the content delivery is more faster, and the pricing could also affect in the way that maybe the tax system of that costing, whatever cost you're going to spend, is dealt differently, because there is not a unanimous pricing model actually Amazon using. They are using geo proximity, or like geographically distributed based pricing system, which means that they Amazon internally evaluated how much cost they have to spend on Frankfurt databases or data warehouses, and in general, based on that, if you select that region, they do the pricing. So yeah, that's it. Here's a beautiful example that if you can see that there are three regions. One region is North California, and in North California there is US West 1. There are three data centers, data center 1, 2, 3, and these are called availability zone. And if this is always a good practice, that while selecting your resources, you always select that please create a copy of my EC2 instance class availability zone. This you have to select by your own. That has a little bit more extra cost, but completely foolproof security in case of any problem with data center 1C or 1A. One copy of your sources is completely available on data B, which means that you are safe and your service is going to be operating in quite normal circumstances. That's what it's saying here. So what is the relationship between the region and availability zone? Well, in every region there are some availability zone, and availability zones are independent to each other. So as I said that you are close to customer, it's always good idea to serve your customer closer. And that's what I was talking about, the CloudFront delivery content system. It is designed to create a copy or cache of that system, which is oftenly called by the customer to very near to the customer. For example, your customer is sitting here, the edge location is getting your data or video, for example, fetching the video from EC2 instance from here on the other part of world, and create a cache which is close to that customer. And if your region is very close, then the distance of traveling of this video from this to this cache is really small, which means that you're already efficient if you choose the closer customer base. That's it. It's all about. So that's it's all about. Yeah. Great. Great. So yeah, this is the region, and that's how region works. Okay, other than that, how AWS could work? AWS could work in the console way, which is this console. You can search, select everything from here. The second way is CLI. In the CLI, you have terminal of the Linux where you can write some command and perform some action. You can create everything from this CLI command as well. And third way is to connect with Python or whatever language you are using. They are called software development kit, and you can also completely work with that. So these are the application interfaces or APIs always, and these API work with that way. Amazon Console, SDK or CLI, whatever I have shown you. Great, superb. With SDK you always can do the stuff. You can do stuff with the. So which of the following is true for AWS Global Infrastructure? When availability zone is considered single region, no. Availability zone is one up to region, no, not. The region consists of single, not. There's not single, there are more than one. Origin consists of three, and this is the correct origin. Great. So the knowledge check number 2 is that which factor should be considering when selecting the region. Great. So it's close to the customer and it's compliant with the Data Governance Act, like these. Right. And the third is that CloudFront is content delivery system. This could be right. And which does to cache a copy of content faster delivery to use. It's edge location, right? So which action can a cloud practitioner perform with AWS Outpost? Have we discussed Outpost or not? Let me just first discuss the Outpost. What is the Outpost? Outpost is the way similar to programming interface where you're saying that, well, Amazon is a great place. They have a lot of sources, a lot of tools which are very handy to use and pre-built tool which makes the life of developer very easy and straightforward to go. But the problem is that I have my own data center and I am not able to, for some reason, it could be cost or it could be privacy or it could be my own safe feeling. I could not for some reason shift my whole application from on-premises, my local data center, to the Amazon cloud. What I can do, is there any way that I could use Amazon services, existing services, but not the cloud storage and storage and computation power of the cloud? That I want to use my own, but the services layer I want to use. For that kind of stuff, Amazon Host come into picture. Extend AWS infrastructure and services to different locations, including on-premises data center. So Outpost means that you can always use your own or any different cloud or data center with Amazon services. So great. That's all for today. That was easier. In the next module, module number 4, we are going to discuss the networking, which is virtual private networks and virtual private clouds inside subnets, subnet masking, security protocols, some other services like Duty Guard, credential manager, and many more stuff. I mean, the most tough and challenging part is always networking, like firewall, how you can protect your stuff. So for the practitioner test, it's not that deep. For associate, it is quite deep, but for practitioner, it's not that deep. So we are actually going to see this. Since this topic has all the questions we have seen here are covered, mostly question wise, we don't need to create some extra question. But for other topics, we always create some in-depth extra questions for the practice. Thank you very much. See you in the next lesson. Bye.